Hello, welcome back. We are on a freaking roll with recording content.
Yeah, what is this, like the third video in 7 days?
I don't know, but I think we have a new discipline. In spring is like our reset time.
Yeah.
We didn't have a great reset for New Year's, and I feel like now we're having a really great reset for spring.
Yeah, we're gonna keep this going.
So today we're going to talk about a very commonly asked question, and that's what is my diagnosis and what is my life expectancy?
I feel like it should be like a short answer, but I feel like it is. It just takes a long time to explain everything.
I mean, I could give it in a short answer, but that wouldn't give you the full story of what's
Yeah.
going on.
When did you start showing symptoms of your disability?
I was like probably 8 years old, or maybe a little younger, maybe 7, and I started walking on my tippy toes, which a lot of girls do, like a little princess walk. My parents were like, oh, that's so cute. And then it started to be a little less cute when I was falling over all the time. And then I started to not be able to run in PE. And I have one distinct memory of our PE coach being like, okay, Amanda, how about you decide how many laps people are gonna run for like exercise today? And I was like, 1, and he was like, oh, I thought you would say 0. But I definitely could tell that he was letting me choose because I could not run the laps anymore. And I was like trying to jog and I couldn't.
That's like super sweet.
Yeah, he was really nice. His name was Coach Steve.
Aw, Coach Steve.
Yeah. So that started happening in like 3rd grade probably. And then I started having a really hard time getting up off the floor and going upstairs, and walking became a little harder. So then my parents were like, okay, there's clearly something going on here. That's when they decided to take me to the neurologist. And, you know, you would think that you go to the doctor and the doctor's going to be able to tell you what's wrong with you, right?
That's definitely what you would hope, but I know already that that's not how it went for you.
Before you knew me and had to deal with doctors so much, did you have a different perspective of doctors?
Yeah, I definitely feel like my perspective was always like, go to the doctor, they'll tell you right then and there what's wrong. And now it's like, after I've heard of so many different people's diagnosis journey, how difficult it can be to actually get what's your real diagnosis. And how much gaslighting can happen too.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people grow up in this fairy tale world where you can go to a doctor and you can trust, like put your full trust in them, which if you have a doctor like that, that's great. Never lose them, never leave them, because you really have to advocate for yourself with a disability. Like doctors don't know, they're not the all-knowing people that I was raised to think that they were.
Yeah, and especially back when you were trying to get diagnosed in the 90s, like now there's so many genetic tests and everything that they just tell you point blank it's got nothing to even do with the doctor at that point.
We'll get there. So I started having those issues. My parents took me to the neurologist, and the neurologist said that I had muscular atrophy. So they put me in physical therapy. And I did physical therapy for a while, and my physical therapist was like, she does not have this. You need to go to this specific neurologist. And this was after I went to several different doctors to try and figure it out. But then we went to this one specific doctor, and they were like, I think that you have muscular dystrophy. And so my parents were like, okay, an answer, we think. But back when I was getting diagnosed, I was now 10, which was 2004. So when I was getting diagnosed back then, I had to get a muscle biopsy. So they had to put me to sleep and test my muscle fiber to see what was going on. So before getting this muscle biopsy, little Amanda decided to read an article on the internet about a girl that got put under anesthesia and never woke up. Hello, my health anxiety. That's probably when it started.
Yes, and can I also say that this is a recurring issue that you still face to this day. Whenever she has something medical that she has to, like a procedure or anything like that, she will undoubtedly read about all of the complications that are possible, no matter how rare, and it just consumes her.
I'd rather die than be put under. I don't
That's
mean
not
that,
true.
but like kind of mean that like a little. So I went into the hospital and I was crying so much that they had to give me a drug to calm down before they put me to sleep because I was so upset. And then I woke up at the end of my surgery and my dad said, "How's your leg?" And I was like, "Oh, it hurts." And he goes, "Really? Because they decided to do it on your arm."
Honestly, I love that story, and it sounds so much like you that you'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, I really feel
really
it."
bad.
Oh my God. And it's so like your dad to like ask you that question.
Yeah, just to prod me. Play Fiesta in the middle of the video. Lily, I said no playing. We are getting ready to tell the diagnosis.
Okay.
Guys.
I think we might have to take that.
So that biopsy resulted in me being diagnosed with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy type 2A. And so when I found that out, it meant that the physical therapy that they had me in was actually breaking my muscles down more, because the disability that I have is where I'm missing a protein to build muscle. And when you work out, you're breaking down your muscle and it's rebuilding. And my muscles don't do that rebuilding. So that was unfortunate. The silver lining in this is that it doesn't affect my heart or my organs or my lungs. And so that's great. It's limb girdle, so legs, arms, and the girdle area. So like
I was wondering how you were going to say that. the girdle.
So basically everything, except for, you know, like my fingers are really strong.
Oh yeah, she's got little pinchies.
Make jokes.
Yeah, look at that.
That probably hurt.
Not too bad.
So yeah, my fingers are strong. My neck is like decently strong. So that's kind of how it affects.
Yeah, and chewing, eating is all unaffected.
Yeah.
So when you got diagnosed, was that like scary for you and your family?
I feel like my family did something where they were like very nonchalant about it. They were still like, "Oh, you're gonna live a great life. Like, we're gonna help you through whatever."
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, I am living a great life. They were right in that. But like, it wasn't like, "Oh, you have this diagnosis. We feel so bad for you." My parents were still like letting me do all of my sports. They took me hiking. They did all kinds of stuff with me. And so like when I was young, I don't feel like I actually processed that I was diagnosed with anything. Mm-hmm. So there was a doctor that we went to after my diagnosis that told me that I'd never be able to drive and that I should get a wheelchair right now. And I walked for 10 more years after they told me that.
And that's like so weird. Like, why would he be like that? You know, like that's very negative.
And
like,
that's what's given me my negative view of the healthcare system. And I am very hesitant to trust doctors now. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
I went through like some of that stuff where I had a lot of people saying that they felt bad for me or like giving me a negative prognosis when they really don't know how it's going to progress, because it is a progressive condition where my muscles will break down over time, but there's really not enough studies on it to the point where they even know how it's going to affect me in the long term, and that's still true today.
And literally nobody knows exactly how far she will progress because it's different for everybody. We actually met, the only time I've met someone else with limb girdle 2A, she had like much different abilities than you. It was like...
Yeah, we were doing a photo shoot, I think, for Sarepta. Mm-hmm. And they had somebody else there with my type, and she was, you know, still walking and everything. And some people walk for years and years after my age, even now. You just really don't know how it's going to affect you. And so you kind of live every day just kind of trying to block out, like, thinking too much about what the future holds. And yeah.
Yeah.
There's more to come on that.
Okay, flash forward to when you met me. What happened then?
So there was a whole new chapter coming up when I met Michael. I met him when I was 25-ish, so like 15 years after my diagnosis, and I had been in a wheelchair for a few years at that point. I think I was 20 when I started using a wheelchair, so several years in a wheelchair. And I was losing abilities, and I was having the beginning of my very bad health anxiety. So we went to my neurologist because I was like, what if something's affecting my lungs? What if this is progressing? I hadn't been in a few years, honestly, because sometimes I feel like I'm going to be studied, not to be helped, because they haven't done studies on my disability. So I feel like they're just asking me questions and they say, okay, see you in a year. And that's kind of it. So I found myself skipping my appointments and I was like, wait, what if something's actually wrong with me? Which was my health anxiety. But we go to the neurologist and we go in and he's like, oh, you had the muscle biopsy test, I see.
And this was your first visit. Like, we started brand new at the MDA clinic in St. Pete.
Yeah, it was a new neurologist, and honestly, it's the best one I've had yet. So I do like him.
Yeah, that clinic is awesome. I love how you get to see every person there one by one. Like, first you see the neurologist, then you see a physical therapist, then a wheelchair guy. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool that they have like the whole MDA clinic and it's only MD patients 1 day a week. To throw a nice twist into this story, or not so nice, is he says that test that you did to diagnose your disability is actually not that accurate. We need to retest you. And I was going there for comfort.
Yeah, that's the awful part, is that our literal purpose there was for him to be like, yeah, limb girdle 2A, you're good.
Yeah, well, he didn't say that. He said, I'm going to do a mouth swab. That's all you have to do now, not be put under. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to wait 3 weeks to find out what your disability is. So that sent me into a whole new spiral. I was having even worse anxiety. I was scared because a lot of the other subtypes affect your heart, your organs, your life expectancy, and I was actually terrified, like not even haha terrified, like I'm nervous. Like,
yeah, I mean, and you had gone the last 15 years or whatever just fully believing that you had 2A and it didn't affect your lungs, whatever, and that just shattered instantly.
When I was already having big questions in my head about my health.
And that brought us into the dark ages, I think.
Yeah, Michael had to really take care of me for like a good year at least of our relationship, because I mean, we've talked about this, my anxiety was just so bad. So anyway, in the middle of all of that is when this happened, and I had to wait 3 weeks and go back in to the neurologist to get my diagnosis. I'm shaking, I'm freaking out, I'm in there. You love telling this part of the story because it's ridiculous. So you go ahead.
It was crazy. We like her neurologist, but the delivery on that was crazy. It was like a game show. He had his clipboard and Amanda is there like on the verge of hyperventilating, and he goes, the subtype that you have is, and then like a pause.
Because he was clearly just reading it for the
and I
first
think
time.
I think on the form he was like trying to find where it said it, and then he goes, type 2A.
I start bawling my eyes out.
And it's
he's like, no, it's good news. Like, this is good. And I'm like, yeah, but I was so scared. Like, he really, he's a nice guy. He really is. He plays Disney songs, like, while we're sitting in there and talking. I like that. But he was apparently struggling that day because he was not giving me the bedside manner that I needed. And I was like crying of like happiness and relief because I was just thinking that my whole life was about to change in that appointment. And that was really scary for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. Because I remember even when I first met you, even before I met you, when you told me which type you had, I instantly started Googling it and trying to figure out everything I could about it. You know, like, how does that affect you long term, whatever.
My whole family was definitely happy that my original diagnosis was true. So that was a relief. So to answer the question of what my disability is and what is my life expectancy, I have limb-girdle muscular dystrophy type 2A, and it does not affect my life expectancy, or it shouldn't, unless I have comorbid conditions. So we're hopeful that there's not too much comorbid going on, but there's been some interesting health stuff going on. So we are going to be seeing some doctors, but the good news is I have 2A.
And a fun fact about that has popped up a few times. The protein that you're missing ends up in your blood or something. So every time she gets a blood test, the doctors come back like a little bit pale and they're like, you have 500 times the normal amount of creatine
like,
in your blood. And she's like, oh no, that's normal.
No worries, it's just my muscles breaking down. It's all good. Yeah, that's a fun fact. I will say that living my life with a disability and going through all of the diagnosis and health stuff that I have and just not knowing how my progression is gonna go has definitely given me a different outlook on life. And that's one thing that I always say about my disability is like, I would not be the person that I am without having my disability. I think that it's given me so much empathy and understanding, that it's given me joy, which sounds weird. It's given me joy because I feel like I really like to make the most of life, and you know, you only live once kind of thing. Like,
YOLO.
Yeah, I feel embarrassed saying that, but like, we go on trips, we go see our friends, we do projects in our house so that we're enjoying where we're living. Like, we just really live. And I love that we do that.
Yeah, and even for me, going through your second diagnosis was like crazy enlightening for me. Like, that was literally the first time I ever dealt with like such a big question mark in my life that was so important. Like, I've been blessed to have a super, I would say, easy life.
Yeah, your family doesn't have fun health issues like me. I'm very interesting. We'll get into the specific genetics of my disability in another video and where it came from, because that's also interesting.
It is a very interesting story.
But yeah, you going through the diagnosis with me the second time, I feel like was very impactful, especially for, I think we were engaged at that point, and I mean, it's your life partner going through something like that. So
yeah, and it's weird trying to be supportive of you while I'm also feeling anxiety about it.
Yeah, definitely a big emotional thing that we've been through, but it's something that definitely bonded us. Trauma bond.
Love you.
So I think that with my diagnosis, as my neurologist says, it's the good kind, and it's helped us to live more intentionally. So that's my current diagnosis and what's going on.
If you found this interesting, make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Let us know if you guys have any other questions. We are making a nice list for Q&A, so don't forget to leave it in the comments and we will use it for future content.